If you've ever wondered what the structure of an ad account that has scaled to over $3.6 million in a single 30-day period, well, that's exactly what I'm about to show you in this week's video. And just to jump straight in and show you proof of this, here is actually the ad account where, as you can see, we generated over $3.6 million in the last 30 days at a 4x return on ad spend during one of the busiest years in all of eCom, which is, of course, Black Friday and the holiday season. And that would mean that in total, we spent around $891,000 again, just in a single ad account. And this is actually not worldwide. This is only US, Canada, and Australia. So if we were going worldwide, we probably could have spent a lot more. With that said, due to the shipping restrictions, we were just operating in these three countries, but dominantly within the United States. Now, what I want to mention is that I know a lot of you are very interested in ad account structure and you want to see what does an ad account at, a scale of spending over $20,000, $30,000 a day actually looks like. So that's why I am going to show you the account structure here, but I want to be clear that you will never be able to get to this kind of scale if you are solely focusing on account structure. The thing that makes this kind of scale possible is having an incredible product and an incredible offer, having ad creatives that are targeted towards your ideal customers, and having congruent landing pages and an optimized website to communicate your value and ultimately complete the customer journey. I want you to know that just by copying this ad account structure is not going to get you to spending $20,000 or $30,000 a day. However, it might help you optimize your current account structure to scale a little bit further. But ultimately, the main takeaway that I want you to have from this video is that you need to test more ad creatives, you need to test more landing pages, and you need to continue to find ways to provide value with your products. The truth is, not every single brand can scale to doing over $3.6 million just reported inside of their Facebook ad account. It's actually going to take a very special product to get there, or some very powerful marketing. Now, I'd like to say that we've done a little bit of both in this instance here, which has led to obviously some incredible results for this brand. But with that said, the biggest thing that you need to remember is that ad account structure is not how you get here. It's all about your creatives. It's all about your landing pages, and it's all about your products and offers. So with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at the structure. All right, so as you can see in the ad account, we did have quite a few campaigns live, and I'm actually going to break down and explain every single one of them. So the first thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to filter by spend once Facebook wants to load. And you can see that our top spending campaign was our promo BFCM public sale in the US. And again, this campaign is a CBO following our structure of broad, warm, and hot audiences. Now, if you've been on the channel before, you know that I am not a big believer in audiences, and we actually fully test broad for 99% of our brands, 99% of the time. But for the 1% of the time where we run sales, we actually do create custom audiences, and we target lower in the funnel people because we want to show the sale multiple times to them. So if we actually jump into the ad set here, you can see that there are, again, 3 types of audiences. And if you're wondering why these are turned off and why these are turned on and why the main campaign says BFCM and then inside of here there's holiday assets, this year what we decided to do was just try to simplify things down and keep our main campaign running with data and simply turn off our BFCM sale and turn on our holiday sale. Just know that these ad sets here, so holiday sale broad and BFCM public sale broad, are the exact same thing on the inside, but I just want to clarify that in case you're thinking that you need to launch 6 ad sets. If we actually just go back to basically Black Friday week itself, you can see here that we only had these 3 ad sets live. And again, what this first ad set is just a completely broad audience. If we click inside, you can see we were just simply restricting purchasers over the last 30 days and only targeting the United States with an 18 to 65 plus range and all genders. Okay, so when I say we were wide open and broad. And as you can see, this got the most amount of spend because what happens when you run this structure, especially using CBO, is Facebook is going to divvy up spend based off of how much that you give it. So essentially you can see here, these 2 ad sets had a much higher frequency as we expect because they are doing retargeting, and our broad audience here had a lot lower frequency because this is what was actually driving new customers and filling up these audiences in here. Now, the warm 60 audience is a very simple audience as well. This audience, as you can see, is a custom audience where we created engagers from IG or Instagram over the last 60 days, Facebook engagers over the last 60 days, and video views 95% last 60 days. And then we were excluding add to cart, initiate checkout, view content, and website visitors over the last 90 days. And the reason for that is because this is the actual audience that goes in our third and final audience here, which is called the Hot 90. So if we actually jump into the Hot 90 audience, you'll see in here that we are targeting people who have added to cart, initiated checkout, viewed content, and been to the website over the last 90 days. Now, one thing that I do want to call out, and one of the main reasons this is so effective for us, because as you can see, we were getting a 4x return on broad, a 4.6 on our warm, and a 7.04 on our hot, is we don't actually target warm or hot users during the year. So this audience isn't really used to seeing our ads, multiple times during a small period. Like as you can see over this 4-day period here, this had a frequency of 6x and 7x. So like we were showing these ads a lot to this audience. And again, the reason why is because this is a limited time sale and we don't just want to show them the ad once. We want to keep showing it to them again and again and again, because what that is going to do is it's just going to stay on top of them and remind them like, hey, this sale is ending. Like I know you have been watching our content, you've been to our Instagram, you've been to the website, and you can see as well, our cost per click is extremely high. Now keep in mind CPMs for these audiences as well are insanely high. It was $87 for the warm audience and $94 for the hot audience. Welcome to Q4. But with that said, we don't over abuse these audiences throughout the year, for the main reason that when it is sale time and we do want to show our ads a lot, we have the ability to do so, and these audiences aren't really taxed. So this was one of the main ways that we were actually able to scale over this 30-day period. And as a result, we're able to get some insane purchase conversion value and return on ad spend, as well as a very low CPA, and obviously making this promo style campaign an absolute success. Now, of course, for the sake of the brand, I'm not going to show you the creatives, but just know inside of here, there were two types of creatives that were winning. One was a very simple static that clearly showed the product and clearly announced the sale on top of it. And then the other one was just our best performing video ad with a banner that said our Black Friday sale was live. Now, if we jump into the next top spending campaign here, you can see this was our acquisition campaign, and more clearly our 7-day click acquisition campaign. For this brand specifically, we have noticed that switching our attribution from just 7-day click, 1-day view, which is standard, to 7-day click only, we are able to drive much more efficiency and overall able to generate a lot better returns. And so inside of this campaign, it's very, very simple. We are only testing our DCTs. So if you don't know our DCT strategy, I'd highly recommend that you go and check out the video that's going to be linked below that talks about it, or you can join the Free Evolve program as well, and there's going to be more information there. But with that said, this campaign is simply our creative testing and scaling campaign all in one. And what we're doing every single week is putting new ads inside of here, and we're only looking for two things. One, does it get spend? And two, is it hitting our KPIs? And if it meets those two things, then that allows us to scale this campaign further. And as you can see, during this time, we still had very strong returns of 3.23x and did over $500,000 in reported sales. Now, the next campaign that we have on here that spent around $81,000 during this period was our LP testing campaign. And now in this campaign specifically, we were testing for US and Canada, but you'll notice this was actually an ABO. And the reason why this is an ABO is because we have decided to start forcing spend specifically on landing pages, and that's something that we have been testing. Now, after we've been testing it enough, we've noticed that you can also run CBO on this, meaning that you just launch your new landing page test inside of there and just let Meta put spend wherever it wants. However, as you can see, this campaign did extremely well, and what we were doing inside of here was we were taking our best ads and we were building customer journeys or congruent landing pages for them and testing them inside of this campaign. And this campaign did so well that it actually sold us out of two specific products for this brand and allowed us to be very, very successful during the Black Friday Cyber Monday period because of how well these landing pages converted and how much more scalability we were able to get out of them. We actually ended up having to turn all of these off in December. So there's actually only one ad set running inside of here right now, just going towards one of the other products. But this LP testing campaign was huge for helping us add more scale to the account as well. And again, taking these best ads and then putting them inside of our champions ad set inside of our 7-day click campaign as well. Now, the next campaign that we had inside of here was actually an ASC campaign. And if I go into this here, you'll notice that the budget is actually at the ad set level. Now, this was something new that we tested this year. And as you can see, it did pretty well for us. And again, what this campaign was all of our best ads from our Black Friday Cyber Monday promo campaign, but now inside of an ASC. So technically we were targeting 4 audiences total, one being the ASC, and then the other 3 being the broad, the warm, and the hot. So this was something new that we decided to test this year to see what kind of performance that we could get. And as you can see, by going back into the campaign level, we were able to spend an additional $52,000 during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and generate an additional $244,000 by running an ASC. And so this was something that we tested across quite a few brands, and we noticed that for some brands it hit like this and did pretty well, and for others it didn't really do too much. But this was just something that we wanted to test, as we saw using an ASC campaign and running specifically to the homepage was something that was doing really well, and it seemed like Meta was favoring in the auction. So we did decide to run that, and as a result that actually did perform quite well. The next campaign over here is the exact same as our acquisition campaign. However, this is focused on Canada only, and you can see we are at a lot less scale in Canada than we are in the US, but overall this still did very well for us. We ran at a 4.2x, generated an additional $135,000 from Canada, so that was great. And then you can also see here we had a BFCM campaign for Canada, and again this has the exact same structure as the US one. I'm going to pull this up again. You can see the exact same audiences here. The only difference is this is in Canada only. So that was the overall performance for Canada. And then as you can see, now we're getting into the holiday sale, and this is where, because the ASC did so well during Black Friday, we decided to launch another one. And as you can see, this ASC is doing pretty solid, but keep in mind they've actually run out of quite a bit of inventory, so we're not at the same kind of scale because we were way above our actual projections during November. But with that said, again, this ASC is doing quite well. And the final one down here is just our original acquisition campaign that was running at 7-day click, 1-day view. And as you can see, the performance here was really strong, but it was mainly view through attribution, which is the reason why we ended up turning this off. And if you don't know what view through attribution is, I'll also leave a link to my attribution video down below that will help you better understand how to optimize your ad account based off of the right data. And then finally, this campaign down here was just the ASC for Canada that we ran during Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And you can see this one did pretty well. And then the final 3 campaigns down here were all for Australia. And honestly, Australia did not do too well for us. It was way under what we expected. However, we still were able to spend, around an additional $5,000 or $5,500 total in Australia, but the returns here were not great. Black Friday, Cyber Monday is definitely not as big of a period in Australia, especially for this client's product. But with all that said, we did actually still get some sales in there, and of course contributed to the overall spend. So as you can see, this is our complete campaign structure. In total, we had 12 campaigns, which, if you ask me, there is a point where you can have too many, but this is still consolidated in our eyes. Now, if you really want to simplify things down, we basically had 4 campaigns running per country. So as you can see here, we had our main promo campaign, we had our ASC campaign, and then we had a creative testing and scaling campaign and an LP testing and scaling campaign, and that was it. All of these other campaigns are simply just separate campaigns for those countries. And the reason why we have to separate those campaigns is because we've actually noticed that specific creatives in the US don't actually perform in Canada, and vice versa. Now, there are definitely some creative overlap there where we notice the same creatives doing decent in each country, but we decide to just keep things segmented when it comes to countries. But if you honestly want to consolidate it like we did here, you're more than welcome to do that as well. It's not going to make that big of a difference. But again, even though we have 12 campaigns, it is still organized. We are still fully aware of what's going on, and we're not just spamming campaigns for no reason. These campaigns each have an objective. And the number one thing that I want to draw attention to is you'll notice that we did not turn off our evergreen campaigns during sales periods. I still get asked that question even in our paid Evolve group, where people are saying, should we leave our evergreen ads running? 100% you should, because as you can see, if we didn't leave them running, we would have missed out on a ton of sales. And so whenever you're doing promos, say you're getting ready for a New Year's sale or a Valentine's Day sale in 2025, then make sure you leave your evergreen campaigns running, because they can perform extremely well for you during this period, especially if you optimize your website. So that's it. That is our entire campaign structure and a live look at an ad account that spent over $890,000 and generated 3.6 million at a 4x return on ad spend. If you want to learn more about strategies like these and actually get an inside look at the full case study that we have shared with our members in Evolve, there's a link below for you to learn more about how we're helping people in our Evolve program scale to over $100,000 per day. I'm actually going to have my editors pop a little bit of a scroll through of all of the case studies that came during Black Friday, Cyber Monday for the people inside of our program. It was absolutely insane. I'm sure it's probably still scrolling, but if you are an e-commerce brand and you're looking to work with consultants that are actually actually doing this and are live in the trenches with you, showing you how to scale brands, I'd highly recommend that you check out the Evolve program down below. And if you happen to be a multiple 7 or 8-figure Shopify brand looking to scale with a growth focused team, we are opening our doors again to new brands in January. And I would love to have a conversation with you to see if our in-house team can actually do something similar for your brand in the new year. If you're watching this over the holidays, I hope you're enjoying your time off, and I will see you in the new year.